Hello. Oh, that's hot. Hello. Hi, my name is Margie. I am the maker and the person behind this channel, Knitting for Joy. I have found so much joy with knitting and with this community on YouTube that I just wanted to kind of do it for myself and share that passion around joy and joyful knitting, and really just kind of spreading the word. The coffee today is made with an AeroPress, and it is from a local coffee roasters here in Iowa. So if you ever want to check it out, it's called Morning Bell, and it's, I think, their Blue Skull coffee. It tastes like lavender. So if you're into floral coffees. The mug of the day is a University of Delaware mug. I did not go to the University of Delaware, but I have a really good friend who kindly gifted this to me as he's getting a PhD in chemical engineering at the University of Delaware, and I really miss him. So if you're watching this, Chaz, I miss you and I'm thinking of you right now. Can you hear my cat? Let's see how long we can be here without her being crazy. I had to move her because she was just going crazy. Okay, let's get started on this podcast. This is my first knitting podcast, and I am so freaking excited. I haven't done any podcasts before, but I have done a couple other random knitting related videos, because this is called Knitting for Joy. So but yeah, I feel like I waited a bit to have a finished object, have a good amount of whips, and just a couple of different acquisitions that I've gotten over the past month or so that I want to show you guys. But I think I may have waited a bit too long because I know I only have one finished object, but I have a lot of whips and a lot of acquisitions. So if you just want to bear with me and ride out this video, that would be great. Also, if you like this content, please make sure to like and subscribe. I really want to grow this and really connect with other people that are knitting, because I want to just kind of make that a bit more of my life. So thank you for watching, and I hope you like the rest of the video. Let's get started with my first finished object, which is, well, my only finished object, but it is my Louvre sweater by Petite Knit, and it's what I'm wearing right now, and I am just in love with it. It took me 4 months to knit this sweater, so I am not one of those fast knitters. We are about slow fashion over here. I am really just, enjoying the process. I started knitting to kind of help with anxiety and just doing something with your hands, and it was amazing. It really changed my life for the better, and I am so glad that I found this hobby, and I'm really passionate about it as a tool for self-care and stress relief and things like that. So if you knit, do you also do this for self-care? Because I feel like it's one of my main areas where I can just not think about, the stress of the world and all of that, and just kind of create something with my hands, which is, it's a very proud feeling. So I will stand up and kind of show you a bit more about this. I'll see if I can move you back a little bit. That way you can kind of see the full picture. My gauge was slightly off on this. So, hi. So it doesn't have as much positive ease as prescribed. So it is just slightly oversized. I think in a lot of other people's pictures and in some of the other, here, let's move you back. Okay. In some of the other people's pictures and photos of what their finished object looks like, I do think it's a bit oversized, more so than what mine is. I knit a size medium, and I have notes, hold on. So I knit a size medium. Oh, and this is also, I forgot to mention the yarn. This is the Barocco Lana's Light 100% wool. It is a DK weight yarn, and the color is Driftwood number 78130. So I wanted to mark that all down. It is in the description as well. I got 4 balls of the yarn to be able to knit the whole sweater, so I thought I would need 400 grams, or like 350 grams to be able to knit the entire sweater. And honestly, it was really close to that. I measured because I thought I used around 3.5 balls of yarn, but I weighed my final ball of yarn and I had about 65 grams left. So I used about 35 grams of the last skein. So I just rounded that up to 0.4 of a ball. So I used around 340 grams and 3.4 balls of yarn. So I was really glad I had gotten that 4th ball. They were 100-gram balls, and the yarn cost. So I want to talk about this a little bit because I've been watching Venetia from The Woolly Worker, and I really loved how she put the cost of the yarn as well as, I guess, so she measures her yarn consumption and then multiplies it by the amount of the cost per ball to kind of come out with a total cost of the sweater. And I really liked that because I think the whole point of making your own clothing and stuff like that, one of the main points is that it could potentially be cheaper than, you know, buying a store-bought sweater or any type of clothing that you're making. And so this was actually really interesting because so each ball of yarn was $11, and I do realize that can be a spectrum of somebody's affordability. And so I don't want to comment specifically about, you know, if that's an affordable yarn or if that's an expensive yarn. To me, this is a bit on the more affordable side because I've also purchased hand-dyed yarn and that can get very expensive. So using 340 grams, the total yarn cost and for this project was $37.40. And so I just thought that was so interesting because if you were to go and buy a sweater from like the store or something like that, you're probably gonna pay like $50 to $60 for just like a regular sweater. And then if you want like something very nice quality, you're probably paying more, like around $80 to $100 for a sweater. And so I really thought that this was interesting, and it felt like I made a pretty cost-effective sweater, even though you don't factor in your time, which is also interesting because it probably took me about 100 hours to make this sweater. I have no idea if that's even accurate, but like that's what it felt like. So I'm going with 100 hours, and so I don't even want to calculate that because it's a time, you know, it's a hobby. I'm doing this for fun. I'm not doing this to like make a product or anything like that. Well, I'm a finished garment for myself, but not to sell or anything. So I didn't factor in my time, but just for the cost sake, it was $37.40. And then the pattern cost was also around $7. It's in a different currency when you buy it, so I don't know the exact exchange rate, but I think it was around $7. So total cost is $44.40, which, yeah, I just thought that was super interesting. I'm a math nerd, so I wanted to go through and do all of that. The other thing I wanted to say about this was I did make one modification because I gauge swatched and my row gauge was smaller than my stitch gauge. And so I didn't really follow the pattern on the sleeves. Like I did the decreases, but I didn't do the amount of rows and then decrease. I just kind of eyeballed it. And I think you're supposed to decrease a certain amount of times each sleeve. And I was able to meet that. So I decreased the right amount of times. And yeah, I think it worked out perfectly. So I want you feel confident if you have to make any modifications, because literally this is my first sweater that I've ever made, and I was able to do it. Like, you're able to figure it out. You can do it. I believe in you. The other thing I wanted to talk about was kind of how it's wearing. So I don't know if you've ever worked with the Lana's Light wool, but I think it's a bit, I guess, scratchy. Not itchy, but scratchy. And like, if you compare that to like a hand-dyed superwash merino wool, it is very different. And so I thought that it would be very itchy against the skin. But as I blocked it, which is amazing, you should always block your garments. The fit turns out so much better after you do, and the stitches just bloom amazingly. So make sure you block your garments. I did a wet block. And I'll talk a bit more about the blocking kit that I used later on in the acquisitions video, in the acquisitions portion of the video. Oh gosh, this makes me feel like I have like a piece of hair sticking out, but I don't. Okay. What was I saying? Oh, the yarn was a bit scratchy, but honestly, as I blocked it, and then I've worn it probably like 5 times since I finished it. I have the hiccups. And since I blocked it, and I feel like it's very like wearable, very soft. The only thing that's a bit like that I notice probably against my skin is around the neck area. And I do think that's because it is a bit like tighter than what the oversized fit I wanted. So I think if it was a bit oversized more so than what how I wanted to, I think it would be a lot less scratchy around my neck. But I don't find that I have to wear anything underneath. So the other thing is that I don't think that this is like a super warm sweater. It feels like it is a bit lighter, like it's not very thick. So I feel like this is actually, so I made it in the winter, like thinking it would be a winter sweater, but actually it feels very nice for the spring. Like, I'm wearing it with holey jeans, like oversized holey jeans, and it feels very springy. Like, I feel like I could go out and about and be perfectly fine in this weather, just like this, without a coat. So I'm actually really happy that I have this right now. I'm also focusing on wearing and knitting things for the office, and so I feel like I can wear this all the time. So that's amazing. Enough about this. I've literally talked for 11 minutes about this sweater, so yeah, I love it. And I feel like for my first sweater, the short rows in the back were also very easy. Don't be intimidated by them. It's literally just look up a video, you flip it over, and then you knit past one. So not that hard. And I feel like it really helped with the shaping. So I was really happy that I stuck with it and did it. And I'll probably be doing that on most of my sweaters going forward. I crocheted a sweater actually last year, and it didn't have any type of shaping, and it felt like very straight across on the neck and just not form-fitting, not like designed to my body. So I really enjoyed having the short row shaping to elongate the back so it sits higher, and then when it hits your waist, it's the same length. So that was awesome. So now that I've talked for 12 minutes, I'm gonna take a sip of coffee, because this is also my second cup of coffee, because I was like writing all my notes within the first cup of coffee. So I got up early because I was so excited to film this. I like got all of my new yarn, I got all of my acquisitions up here, and I'm so excited to show you the rest of this. Okay, enough of the coffee. Okay, let's talk about works in progress, and I'll fly through like 2 of them because they're kind of hibernating right now. So let's talk about the first one. And it's in this cute springy bag. I love it. Shout out to my friend Bailey. We got this at one of her jobs. So she works at Von Mar, and we got it there. So thank you, Bailey. I'm using the bag we got. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of hold it up. The project bag is down here, but I will just kind of show you what I'm working on. So, oh, it looks so good in the camera. It looks so beautiful. So this is the Shift Cowl by Andrea Mowry. And I've done, I think there's 7 sections that you knit, and I've done the first 3. But obviously as it gets larger, there will be a lot more knitting to be done per section. And wow, I think that looks so good. I haven't picked this up in a while because it is a 100% wool, worsted weight wool cowl, and it is just, I live in the Midwest and we're just not in that time of year where I need a scarf. So it has been on hold and it is going to be hibernating till the fall. I've decided, because like this channel says, knitting for joy, I want to be working on things that bring me joy, and you should give yourself permission to work on things that bring you joy. This hobby and this craft is not about just finishing everything, it's about doing what makes you happy. And I think this whole journey for me has really made me feel like I can give myself permission to work on the things that I want to work on and knit the things I want to knit without judging myself too harshly for that. So you can too. So I'm using 3 different colors. I'll show you the colors quick. So there's a purple, a blue, and there's a black in here, I promise, and a black. So these are my 3 colors. I would recommend, if you are, oh god, my eye issues. I would recommend, if you're going to make this cowl, that you use colors that have a bit more contrast between them. So unless you're going for a look where it's kind of lightly contrasted, which is kind of what this is. But I think if I were to do this again, I would knit something that had larger contrast colors. So I would probably throw in like a white or like an ivory or a cream based color to really have like that pop, as well as maybe like a brighter color. I feel like the black and the blue are just really similar, and that's kind of hard to see, but the purple's a bit better, and so I'm excited to see how the rest of it works out. But yeah, I think it's so pretty. I've never done mosaic color work before, so that was a new skill. Don't be intimidated with that as well. I feel like I'm intimidated by everything until I try it and I'm like, oh, that wasn't that bad. But I know it's scary to try, so yeah, this is kind of what I'm working up so far for the cowl. This is on pause. Let's see, what else do I have for whips? I have my little notebook. So the Shift Cowl, oh, the other thing with that is that I was making it as a make-along with my local yarn store, so that was super fun actually to meet up a couple times. I think we met up like 3 or 4 times to just knit together and talk about knitting, and I think through that process I've become a lot closer with the girl that owns the woman that owns the yarn shop that is in my area, so it's been really great to get to know her a bit more, and I feel like I'm learning a lot more about yarn and knitting as I'm participating in events like that. So also don't be scared to go to things like that, because I was a bit worried, but I think after some time and after getting to know some of these people, I think it's going to be really nice. So that's that one. Let's do another work in progress. And it's in this bag. These are all my bags from the yarn store. So I really love to support my local yarn store. Let's talk about this one. This is also on pause whip right now because I have a good reason for that actually. But this is a sock. It is a vanilla sock by the Crazy Sock Lady. I wanted to do something super simple. I've never knit socks before. As you can see, I'm kind of a new knitter. This is my first sweater, first sock. Well, not first sock. I've actually knit 2 other single socks before because I'm really trying to find my perfect fitting sock. And I think I've cracked the code. And it's gonna be super different for you. Everyone has super different feet. I have actually like really narrow feet, so that's been a little interesting. So I will show you what it looks like in the yarn. So it's just, if you know the Crazy Sock Lady vanilla sock pattern, it's just a heel turn, heel flap, and gusset strategy. So that was also not too bad to learn. It was a little interesting trying to do the picking up the stitches. I actually think I did like really good on both of these, to be honest. I have another pair of another that I didn't do very well. It was one before and it just looked so bad and I don't know why. Like, if you have tips for picking up these gusset stitches, I would love them because I think I get it, but then I don't. Like, I feel like it's just inconsistent if I can do it well or not. So yeah, I am loving the yarn. I think it's going, and like I really like how the variegated is looking. Yeah, I have gone back and forth on changing the color for like the cuff and the heel and the toe because I've seen people do that, but I don't know, I just kind of really like a plain sock right now. I'm sure once I make a couple more socks I'll be more confident in changing the colors, but for right now I'm actually really liking it. So I said these were on a pause. So I just took some scrap yarn, put it through here, tied it off, and it's just holding it right now on pause while I am working on some other stuff because I needed my Chowgu red lace needles to work on my other project. So let's put this away. Oh, and I forgot to mention what the yarn was. I'll reference the notes, shall we? This is Emma's yarn. It is the Practically Perfect Sock base in the color See Me Now, and it is an 80-20 base. So it's 80% wool, 20% nylon, and I'm knitting the size medium. The other thing I'll mention with this is that this is a $28.50 ball of yarn. My plan was to get 2 pairs of socks out of this, and that is not what happened. I will probably only get 1 pair of socks out of this. 1 pair of socks for $28.50. It's just very interesting to me about the cost of the yarn versus the garment, and so I'm just super curious about maybe what your favorite sock yarn is, because I'm not sure if I want to keep purchasing hand-dyed yarn for socks. I like how it's working up. I just don't know if that is what I would like to do with that like cost. I think since socks will wear very easily, I am kind of looking for more of like a durable sock than a color cool factor, if that makes sense. So I want to look for something very durable that will hold up, because I think the point, my why for why I'm making these these clothes, is that I really want to make something it feels lifelong, it feels classic, it feels like I will have them for the foreseeable future. I probably won't have them forever. Like, it would be sad not to have this sweater for the rest of my life because I want to wear it when I'm like 80. But in reality, clothes don't really last that long, but I want to have them for as long as I can. So this is, yeah, I would love some recommendations for some other types of sock yarn. So that's the second whip. The third whip is one that I'm going to talk about now, but if you're my boyfriend, you cannot watch this video anymore. So kindly click off and I'll talk to you later. Let's talk about my third whip, which is another pair of vanilla socks, but I am making these for my boyfriend. He graduates college in, I think today is like the 23rd or something, or the 24th, 23rd. And he graduates on May 9th, which gives me like 2 weeks. And I am just like furiously knitting on these. Remember how I said I was a slow knitter? And trying to finish something by a certain deadline is so hard. So I don't know if I can do it, but here is my sock. There's the heel flap, gusset. I'm honestly like at the same place where I stopped the other pair of socks. So I've made a good amount of progress in the last couple of days. I picked up the gusset stitches pretty okay on this one, so that was nice. But yeah, you can see that I use the 2.5 millimeter ChiaoGoo 40-inch red lace knitting needles because I am a tight knitter. Like I just want to like pull and pull and pull. And so I find if I go up just this like 0.25 size, I can get a bit more of like I think what it was meant to be in the stretchiness factor. So this is what it's looking like so far. It's again the Crazy Sock Ladies vanilla socks, but instead I did a 2x2 ribbed detail at the top, and that was inspired by the Truelane knitting podcast. She does that for most of her socks, and I just thought it was like so cute. So you can compare the two different ones and kind of see which one you like and you prefer on your socks. This seems so much stretchier and so much neater than the 1x1 rib, so I might try to continue doing this. I'm making the size large because he has size 13 feet. So I have a lot of knitting to do, and I'm worried they're gonna be too small because I said I was a tight knitter, and this feels like it's gonna be too small. So I'm so nervous, but you can aggressively block things, right? And they're handmade, so we'll see. Let's talk about the yarn. This is okay, wait. Oh God, that was a bad angle. So let's just show kind of an up close what this looks like. It's a very slightly heathered gray black type of color. It is Cascade Heritage in the color. It's a Cascade Heritage sock base in the color charcoal, and it's a 75-25 blend, so 75% wool, 25% nylon. And I got this from my local yarn store. I just really gravitated towards this color. It reminds me of him, not that he's basic or anything like that, but I just think he would really appreciate and really wear like this color of socks. So I wanted, that's the vibe, wanting to give him something that he can wear for a while. So I bought this at the store, and it was $11.50 for this skein of yarn. And I will probably only get one pair of socks from this because of knitting that size large. It's probably not going to leave me with a lot of yarn left over, and if I do, maybe I can work it into like the toe and cuff and heel of a different pair of socks. So, but I'm generally thinking that this will only give me one pair of socks, which is completely fine. I am knitting them to knit the socks. So the only thing I will say about this yarn is that it is super splitty. So I'm not sure if I can show you, but oh, hello. I don't think I can show you, but it's just super splitty. So when I try to do various things, where was it really difficult? I feel like there was a difficult time. Oh, when you do like the slip slit knit or the decreases or the gusset decreases, oh my gosh, I feel like I was splitting this yarn all the time. And so that was actually super annoying, but I really like how it's working up. So I'm a little undecided on if I like this yarn or not, because I really like how it's knitting up, but I have not really enjoyed the process. And this is about joyful knitting, right? So yeah, this is my second yarn that I'm trying for socks, and it's okay. It's not anything crazy, so still on the hunt, if still looking for suggestions. So here's this. This is this whip. This is what I am focused on right now. So we will make sure that I can get this done in time. Let's put this away. So, oh, we gotta flip the page. Okay, the next whip is, oh my gosh, okay. This one would be fun to talk about. I'll put this over here. Actually, let's grab some coffee first. Whew. I feel like I'm losing a bit of the light in here. It's kind of an overcast day, and I film in front of a window, and so I try to get as much light as I can, but you can't predict Mother Nature. So we'll see. Where is this whip? Okay. Anybody just grab their sweaters like this? This is how I just carry everything around. Okay, enough of that. I'm sorry. Why is it like doing this? Okay. Don't worry about that. If that bothers you from now on, I'm so sorry. Okay, let's talk about this. So this is my Lento sweater, and let's see if I can show kind of what it looks like so far. Let's see if I can do this. So it's rolling because it's stockinette, and you know how she be. But I'm trying to show like the raglan increases and kind of how far I am. Oh my gosh, it looks tiny. Okay, I'm hoping that it's gonna stretch, but so this is my Lento sweater, and I got completely influenced by everybody else on the entire knitting community that knit a Lento sweater. I really gravitated towards the fact that it was such a huge gauge. So it took forever, and not that I don't love knitting, but I think I just needed something a bit different. Like, actually, I really have enjoyed going from this to knitting socks, because this is actually knit on 6mm needles. So as you can see, like, they're kind of big for having to knit on such a small yarn. So I'm currently knitting this with two yarns. So I'm knitting it with Sunday by Sandnes Garn and the Tin Silk Mohair by Sandnes Garn as well. This was not the original intent for this yarn. I was very intent on making many other petite knit patterns with this two yarn together, but I really wanted to just knit what I had in stash and knit what I was feeling. And so this is what I wanted to knit, and this was the yarn that I had. and it is so springy. I'm so excited that like I'm knitting this right now, and I'm knitting this in a sweater that is slightly cropped. It's a bigger gauge, so hopefully I'm gonna get a bit more airflow, but since it's mohair, I don't know about that. And also it's bracelet length, so it's not like a like dead of winter type of sweater. So I'm really excited that this was the time and this was the yarn. It felt like they're married. This was a good use for both of these. So, and I've been kind of going crazy with buying yarn, so I just wanted to, yeah, knit what I had. So this is what it's looking like so far. I'm knitting the size 2. Let's see if I wrote down about the ease. I didn't, but I talk about it in some other times. But I also, oh, and I wanted to mention the designer. So it's the Lento sweater by Jonah Hayatala. So thank you for designing this pattern. I'm knitting the size 2, and I have no modifications so far. The only thing I think I would do differently, and I've seen some other knitters do this as well, is based off of the type of increases within the pattern, this is what your raglan will look like. And I actually really like this style of raglan instead, where it's a bit more distinct. And this kind of creates a bit more like eyelet type of pattern, which I think is fine. I think it still looks really good, but it's not, I think I just prefer this type, you know? The other thing about this is that I did do the short row shaping, so that is good. Oh, here, this kind of looks a bit more like it. So I'm really excited about the color. I think it's gonna look really good. And yeah, that's kind of what I've been working on with this. The yarn, I don't have the specific prices, but I think each ball of this was like $8 because it was on sale, and then each ball of this was $13 because it was on sale. So this is an expensive yarn. No, it could be for you. This is, what am I trying to say? I'm glad that it was on sale, because buying both of these together can be expensive for one sweater. So I didn't really think about that, because, you know, if you just make a sweater, like I only made this with 1 strand of yarn, and I think that's a lot cheaper than knitting with 2 strands. So that's something to think about. And also I feel like I was also very yarn influenced by a lot of people making petite knit sweaters, and I felt like I just like had to have mohair, you know? I had to, and especially knit with this combination, you know, because a lot of people knit with this combination. But in reality, I don't know if it's anything like super crazy to write home about. I enjoy knitting with it. I really liked the swatch. I think I'm gonna knit a beautiful sweater, but I don't know if this is like the holy grail of all yarn and all knitting. So if you're not using this yarn, don't feel bad. Go knit with whatever you want to knit. Knit with anything that brings you joy. I don't know, I guess what I'm trying to say, I'm on my soapbox here, and I'm just flopping this yarn around. And what I'm trying to say is that I think you should just knit with what you would like to knit with, not maybe what everyone else is knitting with. And it's really great to get some inspiration by other people, and I think it's really good to have ideas and see what those people are doing. But yeah, just you don't have to be, you're not a knitter because you're knitting with this. You're a knitter because you're knitting. So that's what I have to say about that. I'm trying to see if I had anything else to say about this. Oh, I learned a new skill with the provisional cast on. So it's a double folded collar. And so it is essentially like you knit double the amount, you fold it over, and then knit them together. And I really liked it. I liked that skill. I thought it was easy, way easier than a tubular cast on. Oh my god, I kind of hate that. And yeah, so that's why I have this little extra strand of brown yarn is from that provisional cast on. So it's just kind of all in there. The other thing I wanted to mention about this was that I have found working with the larger needles that it's a bit difficult with the small amount of yarn. So I didn't think it would be weird, but it's almost just awkward. So that is something I would just caution, because so many people are making this sweater and I haven't heard about that. Like, because you're knitting such a large gauge, it can just feel a bit awkward when you're used to knitting yarn that's made for like that specific needle. So there's that, there's this, I love her. Let's put her back. That is all of my whips. So I had 4 total, 2 in hibernation, not hibernation, 1 in hibernation, 1 on hold, 1 as a present, and then another sweater. So be my second sweater. Let's talk about acquisitions. So I don't have just yarn to show you. I have a couple other like yarny things that I want to talk about and just kind of show you guys there. Yeah, I am so excited. It brought me so much joy to go through all of this and see what I've acquired in the last couple of weeks and what I'm gonna knit with these things. Like, I'm just so excited. There's a couple that are like really special with certain trips that I'm planning and things like that. So I think it's just gonna be, and the next couple of months is just gonna be a really great couple of months of knitting. So let's talk about the yarn first, and probably my like most anticipated and like favorite thing that I've bought recently for yarn. Okay, sorry, I do need to have a cup of coffee first. Not a whole cup, but like, whew, I've been talking for what, 42 minutes? I'm so impressed when like these girls and these men with podcasts and they're talking for an hour. I'm trying to talk for an hour. That is so long. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for chilling with me. It's so nice to talk about all this stuff, and my boyfriend's amazing, and he lets me listen to he listens to everything that I have to say about it, and he's always asking me what I'm knitting next and what I'm gonna knit with my yarn and what yarn I just bought. So not that I don't get, my fix from talking about yarn with him in the Women at the Yarn Store, but I think this is just, I'm really excited to interact with all of you. So enough gross, touchy-feely conversations. Let's talk about yarn. So the first one that I want to talk about is in this amazing wrinkled package. No, it came so much nicer than this. I am just kind of bad at storing things. So the first one I want to talk about is I got a package from Olivia and Oliver Fibers. I have never ordered from them before. I'm gonna stop crunching this so I can talk a little bit. I've never ordered from them before, but I really love watching Marlene.knits here on YouTube, and she talks about them a lot. They have really amazing colorways, very just like classic, timeless pieces, and they're beautiful. So I was so excited when I was following them on Instagram. So I think it's Tam who runs Olivia and Oliver Fibers in the Netherlands. They, a couple months ago, came out with a warm neutrals colorway, or like collection, and it sold out so quick that they had 2 different pre-orders, and I was in the second batch of the pre-order because I was working and I couldn't get the first pre-order, so I was like, oh no, but they extended it for a little while and I was able to get something in the second pre-order, so it's taken a bit longer to ship to me. So a lot of other people have gotten like their warm neutrals yarn from that collection. So not that, yeah, I just wanted to kind of mention that's why it's a bit longer that I haven't shown this. So I bought 7 skeins in just one colorway. And it is in the Burnt Umber colorway. And you guys, this could make me like cry. That is how much joy this yarn brings me. Like, can we just take a moment to look at this amazingly beautiful, like, packaged and dyed yarn? I am in love. I have never seen such a gorgeous colorway. It is the Burnt Umber colorway in the, I got the Merino DK base, so it is 100% superwash merino wool, 4-ply, and like I'm so excited. I cannot wait. So I bought 7 different skeins of this. So I have so much of this color to use, and I don't know if so I bought 7 skeins to be able to make an entire sweater, like whatever sweater I would want, because I have a couple patterns in mind. So I've thought about, and I really want to like show the color of this. And I have thought about the No Frills sweater by Petite Knit. I've thought about I wrote it down. Hold on, you're gonna hear crunching. Let's see, I wrote a couple pattern ideas down. The Boar sweater by Stricker Cafe. I think I'm saying that right. If I'm not, please tell me. And that's by Tonya Hodna. And the Couture sweater by Sari Nordlin. But I would really love suggestions on anything that you guys think that this would look amazing in. Like, oh my gosh, how gorgeous. So yeah, I'm in love. I cannot wait to make a sweater in this. So I plan on making a sweater, and I probably will have multiple skeins left over. So there's a couple ideas that I have with either putting this into a striped sweater, like the extras. So I really have been loving the Farnham sweater by the Knit Pro Girl, so potentially this would be like the contrast color within that. Or a couple other like striped sweaters, I would use this as the contrast color. So that was one way I was thinking of using this. And also using a hat. So making this as a hat, I just thought it would be so cute. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I want to make socks with DK weight socks. They just seem really thick and I'm not too into that. I don't know, we'll have to see. I'm gonna say that, but then in like a year, I'm gonna knit DK weight socks and then you're gonna look at me and you're gonna be like, Margie, you said you weren't gonna knit those, and then I knit them. So I'm just throwing that out there so nobody can come for me. But I am in love. So if you also ordered from this collection, do you love this? And I'm sorry that you can't get it. I feel like that's one thing that I don't love about showing hand-dyed yarn and collection yarn, because if I'm showing this to you, I would love for you to go and buy it if you love it, and you can't, and I'm sorry about that, but I will enjoy it for all of us. So this was my first acquisition, and I will stop talking about these for now. So I'll put them there, so I'll put them here so we can all look at them as I continue talking. So let's talk about the next one. The next one that I want to talk about is when I got my boyfriend's sock yarn. I was also looking at yarn to make sorry, I just need to grab it and then start talking. So I was looking at making a knit shirt for a really amazing trip that I have coming up. So I'm going to Greece at the end of June and I'm so excited. But I thought it would just be so special to knit something and wear it during that trip. But knitting things in the dead of heat summer is probably not like the best idea, but I'm doing it. F it, who cares? Can I swear on here? I don't know. So we'll stick with F it. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. So I'm making a t-shirt for Greece and I'm going to be making I already know what I'm gonna make. I'm gonna make the cropped Western tee by Witcher Design. I think it is very flowy, very airy, really simple design that I want to wear while I'm in Greece. And I knew I wanted to knit it in cotton, and I knew I wanted to have something that like was away from my skin. So I wanted it to be like super loose, super airy. I knew it had to be in this color. This is not white. And so, because when I think of Greece, I just think of this, this color. So I picked up this yarn. I haven't even mentioned what it is. It's the Barocco Modern Cotton in the worsted weight. Yeah, worsted weight yarn. And it is in the color Sandy Point 1601, I believe. And I got 3 skeins of this yarn. This is where I'm gonna talk about ease because I thought it was so interesting. So this is, Barocco Modern Cotton in the color Sandy Point. This was $11 a ball and I got 3 balls. It is a worsted weight yarn with 60% Pima cotton and 40% rayon and viscose. So it is a lot more drapey than other cotton yarns that I felt at the store. So and I feel like the cotton is also very dry feeling. This feels very, it's like squishy, you know? The other cotton I was looking at was just like very, almost like tough. Like it would be great for a bag or, like one of those like mesh looking crochet bags or knitted bags. But I didn't really want that texture for a garment. So I felt this and I knew that this was what I wanted to go with. And so I was really thankful that they had this colorway because I'm really excited. And also it really pays to be friends with the people that own your yarn store because this was not like out in the broader section. Like I was just talking with her and she was like, we just got this in, let me show you. So yeah, that was actually really cool. I feel like I feel like it was just like a win. Lots of joy was had during that moment. So I'm gonna use this to make that tee. And I measured my bust and I have a between like 90 and 92 centimeter bust. And this pattern is recommended to have 10 centimeters of positive ease. And so I'm debating, I think I'm gonna knit the size small because that has a finished bust of 98 centimeters. So that's gonna have 8 centimeters of positive ease for me. So, and the size small calls for 250 grams of yarn. I am debating the size medium because that takes 300 grams of yarn and I have the 3 balls, but that one has a much larger finished circumference and I just think it would be way too oversized because 10 centimeters of positive ease is already quite a bit. So I I think I'm good with 8 centimeters of positive ease, so I think this will only take 250 grams of yarn, which is awesome. So I'm excited to cast this on. This is going to be my next cast on after I finish either the socks or the Lento sweater, because like this just needs to be done before June. So I need to just get working on it. Like, it's okay if it's done way early, but it cannot be done late. You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather get done with it before we go. And if I really like it, maybe I can knit another one or something very similar and with like another color, because I think it would be really nice to knit like a blush color in the same exact shirt. Like, I feel like that would be beautiful, as well as just maybe some other different colorways. So like a sage green, but I don't know what they have at the store. So I'm just very excited to knit this one. So yeah, there's that. That was my second acquisition. Let's keep along with the notes. The third one is the polka dot, oh, let me show you. So it's this, and it is the polka dot sheep fine yarns in their altitude base, which is their mohair base. And it is 75% super kid mohair and 25% silk. And that's what it looks like. I kind of want to show all of the different, ooh, there we go. All of the different colors in here, because it's pretty variegated. There's a ton of different types of colors in here, and I'm really excited to knit with this. I really was, so my local yarn store does not get mohair very often. And so I really was, so they had gotten a shipment in, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to purchase this because I was so excited. Oh, and the colorway is Tally Lake. I don't know if I mentioned that, but so I got 4 skeins of this because I was like, I really want to knit like an all mohair type of garment. I just think it'd be beautiful, and I've been looking for this color, so more of like a really dark emerald green, like a really dark petrol green. It's okay that this is variegated, that's fine, but I hadn't found something that had like this type of bluish green color, and it's got some brown in there too. But I'm just, yeah, I'm very excited to knit with this. I've got 4 skeins. I did have 2 of them caked up, and they look so weird. Like, they're just this, like, they look black. Oh my gosh. They're not black. Should I be like a real YouTuber and like try to do that? But it's super fuzzy, super fluffy. Yeah, I'm excited. So I've got 4 of these to be able to knit the Cumulus blouse. And I will be either making the small or medium. I had to buy 4 skeins to make either size, so that'll be good if I want to make either one. Like I said, I have a 90 to 92 centimeter bust, and the small has a 102 centimeter finished bust, and the medium has a 109 centimeter bust finished garment, and the recommended ease is 10 to 15 centimeters. So the small would give me 12 centimeters, 10 to 12 centimeters of positive ease, and the medium would give me like 17 to 19 centimeters of positive ease, which is just, it's a lot, but I'm always worried it's going to be too small. So I hesitate to go down a size, because if I didn't knit the medium in this one, it would have been, I think it would have been too small. So I don't know if you guys have any recommendations on like really trying to know what size you are and positive ease and things like that. that would be super beneficial because I think I'm trying to learn, but yeah, it's always a work in progress. So I'll be making the Cumulus blouse, and I'm really excited. I think this is just gonna be so cute, like this colorway. I'm really trying to make this, I wanted to make it for the office, like more of a blousey type of thing because I'd seen so many sweaters. I just made a sweater, and I'm gonna be making a lot more, but I wanted something that looked more like a blouse for the office, and so I really liked the Cumulus blouse. So yeah, I'll probably start this sometime in the fall. This will not be anytime soon that I cast this on. What else do I have to say about this? Oh, let's talk about the price. It was expensive, $31 per skein. So hand-dyed yarn is expensive, mohair yarn is expensive in general. I feel very grateful that I'm able to purchase this. I feel very grateful that I can do these knitted hobbies and express myself in different ways with different yarns. That may not be what you can do, and I don't want you to feel like you need to go out and buy this. So do what makes you feel comfortable. Again, I want to reiterate that because I know it is not the same for everyone, and I'm very grateful and very lucky that I can buy this, but I'm also looking for more affordable options too, because for myself, this is not sustainable to always buy this. So just a quick note on that because it's so variable. So we'll put that away. Okay, that is all of the yarn. Let's go on to like other knitting notions, I think is what they're called. So just a really quick one is these stitch markers. Oh my gosh, there's a huge glare. So I got a just pack of regular stitch markers. There's 150 of them, and I got them off of Amazon. I just wanted something that was I wanted a ton of them because I lose them so quickly. Like in the couch, I lose them. In the car, I lose them everywhere. I lose them in the closet. My cat plays with them, puts them under the fridge. So I just wanted a million to be able to always have them. And I also really liked the bright colors because when you're working with yarn, I want to be able to just see it, I feel like whenever not that I wouldn't notice it, when I'm knitting, if I was knitting a black sweater and had a black stitch marker, I would be able to notice it, right? But I think just visually, when I can look at it from afar, or when I hold it up and I can visually see where I'm at, that's super helpful. So yeah, if this was $5 off of Amazon, it is linked down below, and it's an affiliate link. So if you purchase it through that, I'll get a small commission, but it's not you won't pay extra for it. So don't feel like you need to, but it is down there as an affiliate link, and I think I have to say that. Let's see, do I have anything else to talk about this? Yeah, I think this is just a really great option. It was $5, so, and they were great. And I'll mention that they're the ones that are a safety pin, because I feel like those are so much easier, because if they don't, if they're just closed, I can't, you can't use them as progress keepers. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to go back in and take and remove them. So I really like that you can just open it, put it on anywhere you want, in the sock, using it right there to be able to mark where I started the foot instead of the leg is so much easier than the other types. So that's the last thing I'll say about that. The next knitting thing that I want to talk about, and I'm so excited, is I finally purchased a blocking kit. So this is the Marlene.knits Knitter's blocking kit. It comes in this super cute tote bag, and it was highly inspired by, again, Marlene.knits. She's like, I like fangirl over her sometimes. I really love her aesthetic, and she knits beautiful things. She has beautiful knitting objects, she's beautiful. And yeah, I think she just has a really great vibe. And I love how she talks about her mental health as well. I think I really resonated with that. I have used knitting to boost my mental health, but it can be tough to put a lot of stress on yourself to knit certain things or knit a certain amount of things, knit trendy things. So it can also just be stressful to talk to this camera. So I'm just looking at myself, but it can be a lot of anxiety to, you know, put yourself out there continually, and it might do well and it might not. So that can be anxiousness. So yeah, I just really love the message she has about knitting. So let's talk about this blocking kit. So let me take out 2 of these little blocking mats. So these are what they look like. And I didn't realize though that they had a different top material than the back. So the back is like that normal foam, but the top material is I don't know what it's called, but it feels like felted and almost like a carpet type of feeling, but like a very short hair carpet. And so this was amazing. So like I blocked this sweater using these, and they have, let me find the pins. It comes in this cute little tin of these T-pins, and my sister helped me block it, so it was a really great experience for both of us. So and it also, the last thing, sorry for the crinkling, but it comes with like a checkered mat that you can like check your gauge on when not your gauge, but like your finished garment. You can put this along the garment, and you can like see how big it is without having to like actually measure. You can just count the squares. I don't think it's like the most insanely useful thing. I would probably just use like a tape measure and measure it, because that seems a bit more convenient and more practical than getting this thing out. But that's besides the point. This is beautiful. So, and it worked extremely well. My garment dried in like 2 days, and I just felt like it was a really great experience with the entire product, and I really like the bag. So highly recommend. But this isn't the cheapest blocking kit. You can get a lot of blocking kits from Amazon for like 30-40 bucks, probably even cheaper than that I think would, you know, do the job just fine. I really like these. So if you're looking for a really good one, I would recommend these a lot. So she has really good taste. Okay, do I have anything else? Okay, the last thing I want to talk about, oh my gosh, we're already at like an hour and 10 minutes. Oh, okay. The last thing I wanted to talk about was actually the type of knitting needles that I use, because I realized I hadn't talked about that on camera before. So I use, oh gosh, there's another glare. I use these, and as you can see, I'm like using a couple of them right now. But these are the Knitter's Pride Interchangeable Needle Set, and I love them, you guys. I didn't realize like what good needles felt like and what bad needles felt like, and not bad, definitely not bad, but just like the difference in how much I enjoy and like what I prefer when I'm knitting. So I had this set, and then my mom was also really gracious enough to get me a Christmas present of knitting needles, because she didn't know that I had an interchangeable set. And so she got me these knit picks. Oh gosh, I can't like figure out this glare. this Knit Picks set of interchangeable needles, and it's the same like size range all the way up, and actually a bit larger. These have 6.5 and 8mm needles, so if you're working with a little bit bulkier, but I think the Knitter's Pride goes down to 3mm needles, and this one goes down to 3.5mm needles, so a bit different in the size range. They're both wooden needles. Let's talk about the differences really quick. So these Knit Picks ones are very grippy. So if you are working and you're maybe a newer knitter and you need more of that like sticking to the needle vibe, this might be for you, because they really do that. It's really good for that. They're also, I don't know if you can tell, but like they're really pointy. So they're kind of almost like sharp when you get down to these other ones, like these really small needles. They're definitely like kind of sharp, and so you can really get into loops and things like that. Really get into loops, I don't know. So they're just different. It's also really nice actually that I've had a second set of needles, because sometimes like there's a lot of projects that work between like 3 to 4.5mm needles, and so it's really nice that I've had a second set to be able to like start a second project while I'm working on one thing or the other. So that's been really nice. But these Knitter's Pride ones these are I think my preferred ones to knit with. They're less of that pointy feel at the top, so they're more dull, but it feels very easy to work with them. I think they're polished wood, so they are less grippy, but still like that in-between grippiness between like metal needles and wood needles. So I've really loved these. Both of these are also, I'll link both of them if you want to check out either of them, because I think they differ in price. I'm not exactly sure, but I will link both of them down below. It's also an affiliate link, so I'm just mentioning that. And if you want to check them out, that would be great. I really recommend these ones. So that is kind of what I have for you guys today. I just wanted to talk a bit about those because I hadn't mentioned them before. So let's put this down. Let's probably drink some cold coffee. Yep, it's cold, but thank you so much for spending this like hour and 15 minutes with me. It's been great sharing everything that I've been able to work on in the past month or so, and I'm really excited to continue making these videos. So yeah, remember to like and subscribe if you like this content, and I'm really excited to continue doing this. So bye guys.